Hello, another cautionary note. I don't know if this is part 3 or 4, but you can't get these pulls in once these cable guides are slid through there, because these pulls have to go through flush, and the little bit of height on these rails keeps you from getting them through. So installing these, we've got to put the pull through and into this before we start sliding these into place like this. And I found they're pretty tight, and I just come in here like this and tap them in. And let me see if I can set this up. Y'all can see something while I'm doing this. Let me pause this. All right, continuing on. So, all right, so that's in there with the pull. So hopefully that'll pull the latch when it's in. I'll slide the latch in, slide my cover in. Now, let's see which punch I want to use. Try this pointed punch. See if this works. Dimple the other one back in. Seems to hold that pretty decent. Oh, I might try this punch. See what it does. It's definitely got that held in good. Slide that up to the back edge a bit. All right, let's see what we can do with this. So once that's in place, this will just, well, it looks like I got to come underneath it like this. And this might not work if I don't latch it in there beforehand. Like that. And then pull it back in. All right, let's see if we can get this held in. Not enough there. Some grip. Let's see if this becomes a catastrophe or not. Oh, that round punch seems to be the way to go. This feels locked in on that one. Not so much here. Maybe I need to do this chisel tip here. Yeah, that works better. And then I got a little bit of play in this that I don't care for. Feels pretty secure. I think I got the tip sticking out a little bit further on the side than I wanted. See if I can lock this in. Yeah, that's locked in good. And it's sliding out. Well, there's a lot more play in that than I was expecting here. Almost looks like I need to be over one spot. Yeah, that should be a lot tighter. So it looks like I need to be over on the 4 slot on this one. And I'm going to have to do a little bit of trial and error with these going forward. So I've got to get that out and move that down 1 slot. I think I'll be okay in the next one over. So that's where we're going to pause for now. All right, so who knows how many minutes later, here's the fix for this. So even though I did this 4 slats over, and I remember Jamie on support after she talked to her engineer and they discouraged me from doing this, that the slats are not equal distant down the length of the cover. So as an example, if I move off from the back edge here on the original slat, 4 slats over, try to hit the center line where the ball anchors. That is, what is that, 8 1/4 inches roughly. So if I go down to the one we did at slat 9 here and measure the same distance, it's, what's that? 7 5/8. So quite a bit different. I was going to move this over one slat, but I remember in my bag of stuff I got from Jamie that one of the things I ended up getting was this security latch field repair kit. There's the part number 1118302. It's a repair kit, and it comes with some cables with no ends on them whatsoever, but it does come with these cable ferrules that you can crimp on there, and it does come with some directions on how to use it. And one of the key things they do point out with the slats is you should be able to just put your hands under these slats and or the pull cable and have about a hand of slack here, which is about what I ended up here on this one. But I still use the original Z cable with that in position 1, 2, 3, 4 slats over. And what I did was I cut the ball off on the one I added, looped it back, and used the ferrule. And they tell you to use a pair of diagonal cutters and just do a very careful crimp in 2 or 3 spots with the cutters, trying not to go all the way through the cable. And that seems to be the magic sauce on that one. So I'm going to keep that 4 slats over and hope with the rolling that gives it the right amount of pull on that. This might actually be a little tighter. I tried moving the slat over one to take up the slack off of this, and it ended up being extremely tight. It would have latched if it was rolled up flat, but as you rolled it and it pulled tension on it, it might have pulled too tight. So I decided to go with this and see how that works. There are a couple extra holes in this adjustment where I could have gone in another hole, but either way, I'm not sure that would have worked well either. This was really the best solution, using the ferrule to crimp down on that. So I'm going to move up to the end and put the second one down yonder between the original latch and the cab end and see where that goes. All right, continuing on with this one. Figured I'd go ahead and get the tape measure. As I said, this one's, if I ignore the middle point on the original back here and measure down to its where the ball end of the pull is, I'm actually measuring from the outer edge of the slat insert 8 9/16 between the outer edges. Now on this one, from the 7 spot, counting 4 over, this looks like it's the same 8 9/16. So I'm hoping this one's going to work out a little bit better, and I'm going to try to put the parts in and see how that goes. I got the one guide opened up here and put into place, and the latch is roughly in there. I'm just opening up this rail a little bit with a screwdriver. Got that enough in, open enough to slide this in. Yeah, and it's easier if I put the cable through first, but figured I'd go through one of these just so y'all can see it. This caterpillar removal tool, I can kind of, apparently I bent the hell out of that. Let's see if that'll go in there. Okay. That's in there. I'll lay in this guide. Let me see if I got another cable pull. And these will go through. I was incorrect before. They can. Takes a little work to get them through, but they will. Let's see how that looks. I might have too much. I'll slide this through a little bit so I can see where I can lock this down. I may be able to make this up with moving one hole over, because that is way too much slop in that cable. That's way too much. It's got to be closer down. So let me see if I can come a hole over or two on this. Come over to the second hole. Pull that in. See how that works. That's about right there. Let's see here. Yeah, I'd say that's about right. So I can use a Z-pull on that without having to use the ferrule or the cable repair kit. Sorry, I'm comparing it to the original one to see the amount of slack before I detent, lock these down in place. Now the catch I'm wondering is, as I roll this, the diameter is getting bigger than it is at the front. Is the amount of slack going to have to be changed depending on the position on the roll? We're going to find out, probably the hard way. I'll let you know. All right, everyone, here's a little test roll since I've got one side laid out. You can see here's the first new latch. Here's the original. And up here is the cab end one I added. So I'm gonna roll this up here on the bed, on the floor. I hear it pull the latch right there. Where's that? See, it's actually retracted all the way already. I'll go over a little bit. And this cable, the Z-pull that I put the cable clamp on, it's really tight. It is almost tighter than it really should be. I mean, this piano wire tight. Not quite my favorite thing. It's digging in a little bit here where the crimp is. If I wanted to give it a little bit more slack, I could possibly, let me see if I have one. I could take and notch off the ends of these a little bit, so the anchor point here for the pull might be a little bit further in or outboard, and maybe take some slack off of that. It's probably what I'll do if I can nip them off without taking the whole thing apart again. That'll slide this over. It really just needs about another 1/4 or 1/2 inch of slack, just enough. But I may run with it, or I may work on that with the other side. So continuing to roll, I hear the first one. There's the original. See, this one's tight, but I can still pull the latch just a hair, even though it's back inside. So it's still got a bit of tension on it. And we've got the second latch on that side coming up. Again, my diameter on the roll is getting bigger here. And that one's tight. Let's see where that latch is. Yep, there it is. It's on the bottom here. It's already rolling up. I haven't actually punched this down to lock it in, but there's enough friction. It's holding it in. But it's retracted all the way. And it's got quite a bit of tension. So I might even try this on the next hole over on the latch. But that'll get it done. I can see it creeping out here a little bit. So I don't know, I may leave that. So when it's rolling out, it pulls itself. But that's on the second hole from the outboard side on the latch. I may just leave that. That seems to be pretty close, other than moving over another 1/4 inch. It's got just a little bit of slack. I'll probably leave that. I don't think I'll give it any more slack. That way I know it pulls out. But that's pretty much what we're going to work with. I just got to lock that down and do the same thing to the other side. I think that'll work out pretty well. Stand by.